The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN Tuesday morning, 8:30 a.m., 60 minutes ago until the opening bell, and we got the S&Ps right near record territory. Right now, you're up 19 points, trading at 33.71. You were sized 33.79 within about 20 S&P points of all-time highs. NASDAQ 100 futures negative by 18 points right now, 11,054. The Dow charging higher, up 317 points, 27,995. And you get the Russell up almost 20 points at 1603. You got gold pulling back in a dramatic fashion, off $55. Gold trading at $19.85. You're down more than $100 from where you were, and that is Friday. Yes, Friday, 2089, of course. Currently trading 1985. Silver off $1.41 at 27.83. We got notes and bonds a little bit of lower price and higher yield. Check out the pullback in the 10-year, off 12 ticks at 139.16. The 30-year off a full point and 8 ticks at 180.02. Europe up in a big way. DAX up 2.1%. FTSE up about 2% as well. CAC roll up about 2.6%. Asia, Nikkei up about 1.9%. Shanghai negative 1.1%. And what's it all have to do with? Maybe, possibly, Russia and a coronavirus vaccine claim. So you have Russia out there saying that they have found the first coronavirus vaccine, approving that, the regulatory body, in terms of if that is a real deal or where that is in terms of their studies. That is to be seen, but the market thinking that maybe, even if this is not the holy grail to say the vaccine might be coming quicker than maybe we all think. That could be the rationale, because we have some of the airline stocks up today. We'll jump around to them in a moment, but Dow hitting 28,000 for some context on where we are on these indices, in context to the all-time highs. The Dow, 29,543, so you're about 1,500 points away from where we were on the Dow. We are now 10,000 points almost above the lows that we made back on March 23rd. The S&Ps, that number on the futures, 33.97. We're within about 20 points right now of that, and we are now 1,200 points off of the lows that we made back in March in the S&Ps. NASDAQ, we made a low of 66.28. We're currently trading 11,000, basically, and the highs pre-COVID, 9,500. So we're 1,500 points above there. And checking in on the Russell, we talked about this earlier in the week. We were above the June highs. We're now pulling away from that level. The highs, 17.15, so about 110 points. We were trading just at about 1,700 before the market fell apart in late February, early March. All right, taking a look at that gold contract as well. Quite a pullback, but quite a run gold has had. Depending on where you look at this thing, right? 1,800 up to almost 2,100 in basically 3 weeks, from July 17th to August 7th. And in 3 days, we've now pulled back, but we'll see where gold goes from there. All right, checking in on what else we have going on in the markets. Last night, it comes out Uber and Lyft. So this is in California. A California judge granted a preliminary injunction Monday requiring Uber and Lyft to stop classifying their drivers as independent contractors, pending further action by the court. They're trying to get them to file as regular employees. California Attorney General brought the lawsuit in May, along with city attorneys San Fran, LA, and San Diego. The ruling does not end the legal battle, as California's labor commissioner announced additional lawsuits against the company alleging wage theft. Uber, Lyft dealing with a lot of regulation woes, as they, of course, want to call their employees contractors. More and more states around the country trying to get them to call them regular employees. That, of course, comes with whether it's payroll taxes, benefits, all of that and above. Uber, we're trading, so 32.27. We traded higher into their earnings, pairing some of those gains, though. And you put this on the 15-minute, you see a little bit of a reaction last night. We're slightly lower with a higher market. Uber from 32.27 to 31.67. Lyft same deal from 31.05. We're down at about 30.60. Lyft with their earnings later this week, so we'll see how it hits them. Okay, what else we have going on for stocks this morning? It is still earnings season, and let's get into a couple. Casper Sleep, but I'm going to jump right into Canada Goose. The outerwear maker reported a smaller than expected loss, better than expected revenue. However, it also said the negative effects of the pandemic have continued into the current quarter, and it expects a significant decline in revenue from a year ago. Their symbol, I forget, Goose, that's right. That's why I want to pull them up. I mean, you're talking about high-end retail winter gear. Whoops, not Google, Goose. From 25, you spiked to about 22.75. We're trading down about $1.25 at 23.55. Some context on that stock, really taking it on the chin from 40 to 12.94, and we're going to open a bit lower at about 23. There you are on that chart. All right, BioNTech said it may present results from a phase 2B/3 clinical trial of its COVID vaccine candidate in October, continues to pursue the goal of bringing the vaccine to market as quickly as possible. So they have some news. Talked about Uber and Lyft. Novavax, they're saying they have the manufacturing capacity, will be sufficient to meet demand for its COVID-19 vaccine, which it thinks will be as high as 600 million doses. Pretty remarkable that they think they have that capacity to just push that out. They expect to begin phase 3 trial as soon as late September. So you see in October up there with BioNTech, September down here for Novavax. Inovio said it expects its COVID-19 vaccine candidate to enter a mid to late stage study in September. So you get September, October, September. These studies, they could take 2 to 3 months. Seems like end of 2021, hopefully, maybe more realistically, the very beginning of, end of 2020, very beginning of 2021. Some of these timelines are lining up with the potential for a vaccine to come about. As to how, when most average Americans will get that vaccine, if they want it, you're probably talking about well into 2021 maybe. So we'll see how that goes. But BioNTech, is it BIN? No, it's not. What is that symbol? BNTX. We're going to put them on a 5-minute. So there's a little bit of volatility on their numbers, spiking to 72.12. And then Novavax to 168, and there's volatility on their announcement as well to 186, and looks like we're going to trade lower about $10 now on Novavax on their numbers. They reported a loss of 60 cents. The market was looking for a loss of 30. You had the conference call beginning last night, and looks like whatever they were talking about, not what the market wanted to hear. All right, let's jump over the VIX as this market climbs to record territory. The VIX almost a 20 handle, remarkable. So let's put the VIX on some context of the lows we've seen, because we are eclipsing these lows now. So here's the beginning of the COVID acceleration. We trade up to 85. A few times we've come down to these lower levels, 23.54 in early June. That was when the market topped out in early June. Then, of course, we had a pullback, 24.92 in early July. Now, this was notated. That is talking about August 3rd. The low being 22.17 now. These are moving around a bit, and you can see the trend, 21.10. I mean, if we're making new highs, we still have the VIX over 20, but historically, you're talking about the average somewhere around 16, and we're creeping right towards that average with markets making all-time highs at a time when the economy is still struggling. We'll go over some of that when we come back. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back in 3 minutes.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The gold market has taken off topside in a large way in 2020. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The Gold Report took profits in 4 of its equities in the gold portfolio in the first week of January for a combined profit of 99.2%, with 2 positions left in the portfolio that have a profit of 67.5% as of January 7th. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. S&P's right now positive by 20, 33.72. Should be an interesting open, of course, with Europe, almost 2.5% in the green, and pretty remarkable. Jumping back to some of the specifics, of the Russian claim that they have a registered vaccine, the first one in the world. So clinical trials of the vaccine have been completed in less than 2 months. Now, this is what we know, right? This is what's being reported or promoted by Russia. And phase 3 trials are set to begin shortly, despite the vaccine already been registered. Putin also reportedly stated that one of his daughters had been vaccinated against the coronavirus, commenting in this sense she took part in the experiment. You can believe that one if you want or not. We'll get into more of it. Let me slide down. Here's the part I wanted. No data has yet been published by the researchers, and the long-term effects and safety of the possible vaccine currently remain unclear. No data. Zero data. So you have Putin, the former head of the KGB, coming out and saying, guess what? We're going to save the world. I'm not going to tell you how. I'm not going to tell you the data behind this, but just trust me on this one. I gave it to my own family. I wouldn't trust it. Everybody should take it. Russia saved the world. Nonetheless, pretty remarkable that you look at the market, and we got the Dow up 347 points. Charging higher even as we speak to 28,027. Jumping around to some of the airline stocks. American Airlines closed yesterday at 14. We're currently trading more than $1 higher at 15.06. Delta Airlines, right, up from $29.34 to almost $31 this morning. Let's check out domestic. JetBlue up 80 cents from $11.69 to $12.50. Southwest shares from 35 basically to 36.55. And CLH, Norwegian Cruise Line, 15 to 16.50. You're up almost 10% on the cruise ships because Russia says that they have a vaccine and they have no data. Be very skeptical, folks. I'm really interested to see this market open because as we accelerate to these prices on that, maybe some of the optimism, just that other vaccines with more data might come quicker than we think. But man, it's pretty amazing how this market charges higher on something like that news coming out. I almost shrugged it off, and then I had to come to the fruition that when I looked at the market earlier this morning, I saw the headline almost first thing, And I had not looked at the market yet, and nonetheless, the market reacted in quite a fashion as the S&Ps are up 20 points. Getting into that gold contract a bit, gold continuing to decline, now off $66 at $19.73. Talk about pairing some of those gains. You back it up to even where we were yesterday, you're approaching about $90. Same time yesterday, almost 10 a.m., you're trading at $2,056, currently trading $19.71 as gold is dropping off a bit. Jumping over to some of the ETFs. Not open yet. I thought we might get a bid ask, but we're not getting a bid ask on that yet. Okay, what else we got going on in the market? Jumping around to some of the coronavirus numbers. In light of the vaccine out there, pretty stark when you look at the numbers going on. Now, we'll start it off with the Dow and the number that we're doing here. Now, this is not factoring in that the Dow is already up more than 1% right now, right? Look at the streak we have, folks. This is going to be the 8th consecutive day of gains, and we're talking about pretty substantial gains in here with 2 days of about 1.3 or 1.4%, 1.9, and we're going to open above 1% on that news. At the same time, the numbers in the U.S. in terms of coronavirus were 5.1 million. We definitely have a decline in our curve, but as you see, I mean, this goes to get to the curve, the 7-day average is the red line in here. Flattening a bit down, and we're talking about 53,000 cases a day we're dealing with right now in the entire U.S. You jump into Florida, encouraging numbers for sure. We're now down. Yesterday, our lowest total in a long time, 4,100 the Times has. I'm going to jump over to the Florida Department of Health site in a moment. Either way, no matter what one you're using, lowest number in a while. Pretty low positivity rate as well. Hopefully the death numbers, that 7-day average, down to about 160 from 184 just a week ago today. And you jump into the actual hard numbers from the Florida Department of Health. Here is the total from yesterday, 4,200 cases they have. The Times has 4,155, slight different classifications. I looked into slight different classifications. But when you look at the positivity rate, which is what I keep my eye on the most, actually a slight tick up because there were less tests done on that day. We're still dealing with 8.6%, but the trend is definitely trending down on that. You really want to see that positivity rate, whether it's 3%, 1%. New York City is under 1% pretty much as they look to open schools. And the opening school debate, of course, the president out there, the biggest cheerleader of all, Ron DeSantis, not far behind him. Schools are beginning to open, and the headlines are pretty stark, folks. You know, I understand getting kids back to school, but if you have kids around people with high risk, be careful. And heed the stuff going on, because you got 800 students, 42 staff. They're in quarantine already in 19 different schools, as you have 38 students and 12 teachers already testing positive. This is going on in Georgia as they opened. In Mississippi, 22 schools have reported cases already. Folks, it's August 11th as schools are looking. You got 34 cases in 22 schools already being reported in Mississippi. So stark numbers out there as this begins to open. And we look to pull back on the cases, you know, as in just be careful, because those numbers, even surprising me how quickly schools shutting down that have already opened back up. Okay, let's take a look at some of the cannabis stocks again. Tilray with their numbers disappointing from 8 almost down to 7.14. They're going to lose about 12% on the open at these price levels. Canopy was charging higher. They came out with their numbers early yesterday, paired some of those gains. Canopy holding pretty steady, up a bit, not really being affected by Tilray. Cronos had their numbers last week, disappointed and brought the market down with them. Be wary of this company, folks. This one seems to be struggling. There's going to be winners and losers. Tom and I talked about it on the program yesterday, and you're going to see a separation of the pack. So just be willing to dynamically evaluate every one of these as earnings season comes, because especially during COVID, at a time when a lot of these companies, very small, if they need to raise funding, are they going to need funding? Are they going to be around in a year or two if the U.S. legalizes things and eases regulation for federally, whether it's marijuana medicinally or recreationally? Are they going to be around? Canopy might be the winner in that group, up to 18, 16.53. Disclosure, I have a position in Canopy. But but you look at where this stock has been. We accelerated a little high towards the end of May. Their last numbers they came out with, disappointing in a big way. They talked about the reorganization, but this time talking about that reorganization saved them some capital and pared some of the losses that they had from the previous quarter, and looks to be, especially on the medicinal side, putting things back in order. All right, let's take a look at one of my other favorites, Disney. So, in my newsletter, Rocket Equities and Options, this is quite an uptrend channel. Of course, they came into their earnings, right? Crushed it out of the park. They got 100 million subscribers when you combine Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN, Disney. Now, Disney's going to benefit just like the rest. When we talk about the news on a potential vaccine, we saw the airlines trading higher. Disney up about $2 from $128.79 up to $130.90 this morning on that potential. And we're coming right up to the upper bound of this, but quite an uptrend channel. That bound about 131 right now that we'd be dealing with. All right, folks, stay tuned. Come back in 3 minutes. We'll see what else we have on tap for Tuesday trading. I'll be right back.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, as well as...
Whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us. And Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and to help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step by step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab. Bam!
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated folic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. Taking a look at that gold contract, now off $72, putting it on a 15-minute real quick. You see the spike low to 1961. Quite an acceleration, really all morning. 1 a.m., we were trading at 2,030. We're about $60 off that price level. You take a look at gold and the run that it's had, right? You even start things off on maybe the beginning of the run on June 5th. Remarkable that you're talking about June 5th. We had a $1,671 price tag. You trade up more than $400 from June 5th, making the highs on August 7th, and then just like that, putting a little Fibonacci in there with 38% on that acceleration, talking about 1930. Interesting, though, you go back to basically March 20th, right? You look at the run that we've had from the markets, then from the entire pop, you go to a 38% on that one. You're talking about, let me delete this drawing to make it as clear as possible. You're talking about $1,850. So it's about $1,930 was the pullback if you really looked at the short term from June 5th, the run up there. You talk about a run if we look at all the way back. You're talking about big numbers. Still, the reason why I really mention it, you put this on a 3-year weekly, and my goodness, that's a blip. Talk about an uptrend channel. Any channel you create, maybe we even are just accelerated, a little bit parabolic. So keep those stops in place on that gold contract. Jumping over to crude. Crude, well, that's your 3-year weekly. Pretty remarkable. Talked about this before. Let's put it on a daily. Because this crude contract just kind of oscillating right around the lows that we had before the market fell out of bed when the Saudis slashed the prices over the weekend back in early March. Crude goes from basically on a Friday at $46. You'd already trade from 46 to 41 on Friday. You open on Monday and reach $27. But just like that, we're back at this 41.05 level and actually creeping a little bit higher this morning on that crude market. Jumping over to Bitcoin as we finish things up. Bitcoin, quite the pop as well for the year. You trade all the way down to 4,200, the lows in March. Currently trading 11,760 on Bitcoin. And we'll finish it up with the VIX, some short-term reference. 2121 with about 35 minutes to go until that opening bell. S&P's up 18, 33.71. Stay tuned, folks. Our man Larry Pesavento, he's coming up live next. We'll be right back.